just in case. There we go. All right.
Okay, now a couple of questions. You can see I have a whole bunch of jobs open here.
Uh-huh.
Is there a problem with doing that?
Uh, n- not not technically in the sense of, can the computer do it? Is it designed to do it? Yeah, it can certainly do that. But here, the only limitation that you've got with that is that every one of those that you have loaded is actually taking up some of your computer memory, the actual
RAM,
and the chips that you're using to operate with.
right?
So, you could slow some things down if one loads one up and you switch to another one and it has to offload that memory assignment to disk.
Okay, well, I don't normally do it. The only reason I've done it now is because I wanted to show you some things on these different drawings.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I do that quite often up to about three. Usually if I have more than that going, I really can't keep track of them all anyway,
Right,
just
right.
on a personal basis. So, but I use, the reason I do that is to, when I have multiples open like that, is because if I'm trying to borrow something from one drawing and put it into another,
Right.
uh, that's the mechanism that I use to do that with. And so that's not much of a problem. You
Okay,
know,
this is the drawing I was having trouble getting the image to load into, and
I,
you can see that I was able to do it. And what the problem was that it came from, this is a drawing that we had worked on previously,
uh-huh.
and I did a save as uh,
Uh,
because the property I'm surveying is right adjacent to this. So I wanted some of the stuff, but not all of it. So I did a save as, and when I was trying to bring the image into this drawing, it told me I already had an image, even though there wasn't one there. So what I did was I went to settings and I went to XREFs
mm-hmm.
and I uh, clicked on the SID and I did a detach.
Yeah. So,
And then I was able to reattach it,
right.
reload it, and it came in fine.
Yeah, now what usually happens when you get that, because the image is actually the reference to an image of that name is there, but what usually happens is, particularly when you have a saved as, and if you've managed to change um, if you have changed the path, then what you're seeing over there in the saved path and the found at columns, then
Or
those don't necessarily uh
over here.
yeah, those don't necessarily follow because see right now I'm reading a full path. So that's trying to start at the drive level and go down through all these different folders. There's a thing called a relative path, which means that it assigns the folder that any of these items are in. It records those folders based on their relative position to the folder that you are currently using as your main working folder. So if you're drawing switches folders, instead of always going back to the root of the drive and working your way down, which now you've actually skipped over into a different folder so it can't find it. But when you use relative pathing, then it will take wherever your drawing is and it finds its way back to that folder, which might be, go up a folder, go up a folder, go up a folder, then go down to a different folder. And so the way that would look would be a dot, dot, backslant, dot, backslant, dot, backslant, folder name, folder name, folder name. So it's those dots and double dots that you might see there when it talks about folder location. And so you can do it like, let me go ahead and request remote control here a minute. Uh, so you can do it like when you're looking at here and there are, not sure if I can, yeah, let me see. This is that saved path. I don't think I can change it after the fact. Let me see. Yeah, I can't. There should be right in here. I should be able to. I may be able to do it with the rename. No, that's just going to change the name. But if I go to attach a new one, so at the time that I'm attaching it, let's just, take one for uh, example. No, that's still not going to let me do it that way. Maybe it's just, well, you see, it might be that it's just,
Well, that's okay. It seems to be
yeah,
working.
yeah, there's, and now I noticed that your location inset is also unreferenced. So,
I don't have one yet.
well, I mean, but there is a definition of one left over in this file when you did the save as from maybe from many moons ago. But you can, go ahead and detach that if you want, if you're not using that particular one. And now that's an actual drawing attachment. So it's looking for that, and you see it has that saved path for user SHEPP OneDrive, whatever that happens to be, which is, let's see if I can, you know, it's all under the 22026 Herbst under your 2022 jobs. That's where it's looking for that location inset. So if when you go to do a new one, either repoint this just by highlighting it and changing it, double clicking the saved path, or just detach it and reattach it.
Okay.
Now there's let me see something here real quick. If I run the actual xref command, well, one of the things like you could take, like, if everything you're working in is in instead of 2022 jobs, but let's say you move that 2022 jobs to a different location, then you could come in here and say, well, that happens to be, dot, dot, backslant, dot, dot, back, if you know relative path terms. There's no need for you to worry about it though. But
Yeah,
usually there's
I
a,
don't know how to do that. I don't
yeah,
know the path terms.
yeah, usually there's and it's really just as quick and easy to do it just by reattaching. Um, but usually there's a switch, and it might be here because if it is a setting, then that's something we do want to set. And that should be in our IntelliCAD options. And it would be probably not any of those. Really in here. Should be under prep. It should be some kind of like a preference that it's looking for. So maybe units. Uh, yeah, I don't see it there. Let me take one quick little peek over here. I'll just do a search.
Okay, that's on my other screen.
Okay, yeah, drag that over. Let me search for that. So, Let's see. It shouldn't be. Yeah, see, it shouldn't be a Carlson thing. It's a CAD thing. It's a CAD setting. It has nothing to do with Carlson. Anyway, I'll look that up separately online and see if we can see if I can find anything
There's
more.
another question I had about this drawing. Uh, why does that do that?
Ah, that is your just what's called your auto um you know how these are do this auto annotation, this
Yeah.
this annotation. So when I select that, it's showing me all of the different sizes and positions and rotations that have been assigned to that particular piece of text for all of its previously assigned annotation scale. So if I look over here, now that I've selected that, look over on the right, see this annotation scale?
Yeah.
That's what it happens to be right now because this drawing is at 1 inch equals 200. That's what it's set to.
Okay.
So, so if I look at this dot, 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 you see this also has all of these potential ones. Here's list all scales for selected entities or scales that are common to those selected entities because not all of these get assigned, but apparently they have been at any particular point in time. Now, I wish AutoCAD wouldn't do this. I wish, um,
But it's not something to worry about.
well, no, but there's a setting I can use to turn it off. The problem, what I wish that AutoCAD and therefore IntelliCAD does is it leaves it as the default condition. And
Okay.
I don't like that. There's no real benefit to that other than if you're really into auto annotation, that might give you oh, okay, I see I've got this defined to other sizes. That doesn't matter. But what we want to do is to turn off, there's a system setting for that. And it's, let's see, no, it's a selection. Selection anno display right here. And you see what that does. I'm going to show you the help system. Now that should pop up and show you that it's,
Okay, it's on the other screen.
yeah, so you can see that what it's doing is determines whether annotative entities like text, when selected, display briefly in other supported scales. Okay. And its default is to be on. That's what I wish they would change. Okay. So we're going to change that to off. So with selection, and we're going to turn it off. Okay. So now when I select it, it just selects it. It doesn't give you that.
Okay, good.
Okay. Now, that is something that we saw in the help system. It said that it's a setting that's stored in the registry. So it doesn't store in each drawing individually. Once you set it, it applies across the board to every one of your um, instances of running this version of IntelliCAD.
Okay, good deal.
All right, so that's cleared.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, you know what? I'm feeling nice and generous today. I'm gonna give you a nice little, this is just a gentleman's chat. We won't even put this one on the books.
Oh, well, thank you. I
Yeah, I mean,
appreciate that.
it's trivial. It's 15 minutes or, what I guess usually about a half hour that I typically bill as minimums, and it's not much, but it's a little bit. But yeah, I'd really like to get people resituated as they move things forward because people get so afraid to move forward that they don't do it. And I sort of wish something because I bought a whole new computer system and everything, monitors, the whole works, and I switched just a little while ago. And
I'm getting ready to do that, and it scares me to death.
yeah, well, it did me too because I wound up going from an Intel-based processor to now this Apple-developed M3 Max chip, and
Yeah.
that required me to switch my version of Windows that I was running from Windows 10, which I finally had all set up and configured the way I liked it. I had to upgrade that to running Windows 11 and a particular version of that called the ARM support version. So there's a lot of stuff that I spent days resetting. A couple things I had to reinstall, and then but in the end, I think it's going to prevail. I've got one remaining project that I got started on an older version of MicroStation that I cannot for there's a way to transfer those up when you do new versions of MicroStation. You've got to transfer all of these support directories over into a new structure, and it's I I can't, that's really an insanity type of thing. So I just uh, I pluck away at it when I can, but it's just overwhelming to the point where I keep my old computer nearby. So, and all of my files are accessible from both computers. I reach them on separate external files or on cloud storage. So,
Do you use cloud storage pretty much?
I do because it's really reliable the on the Apple side of that world on iCloud storage, and it's transparent. It's complete, like under Windows stuff. When I put something on OneDrive or whatever like that, then it's specifically on OneDrive. But iCloud is basically, it just sits there like a safety net. So everything to me looks like it's being stored locally on my computer. But what happens is that it's also being shadowed up to iCloud. And then if my computer ever should get full of there's not as much storage space, then it starts offloading things from my computer and putting them only on the cloud. And yet my computer still shows it to me as if it's still there on my computer. It just takes a little time to just download that one at the moment that I might need it. So in that sense, yes, I do, and it saves. All my backups are automatically going there. Um, I'm not convinced that things like OneCloud or anything on the Windows side is as stable. But to be honest with you, there, Michael, I haven't researched that. It might be just as good, might work just as well, and just
How about Dropbox?
I do use Dropbox quite a lot, but I don't use it as necessarily as backup and as cloud storage, or as overflow storage. I use it to let me put files up to a place that I can then send a link to another user. Maybe a client might need their drawings or whatever, and maybe the drawing set is like a 20 megabyte PDF file, which is a little too large to really send by email. I mean, email will do it, but it's just not very efficient. So instead of sending them the file as an attachment, I'll just simply send them a link pointing to Dropbox. Now, iCloud will do all that for me, but because iCloud's trying to be so transparent, it makes it a little bit confusing to the recipient when they get that link. It shows up to them like as if it's a file that's attached, and they go to download it, and then it checks permissions, and it gets sometimes a little bit sticky for the guy on the other end. So Dropbox is more definitive. It'll show you an actual link with the blue text and all that to tell you to go click on it, and it goes right straight to it.
Right.
So I do use it, but not in that same sense. It's not like overflow cloud storage or backup. I I use it strictly to transfer files.
Okay, let me ask you one more question
Sure.
while I've got you. If
Mhm.
I when I brought in this drawing, I actually brought in a lot more area than I need, and I've been thinking about cutting down on it. Can
Mhm.
I can I do another frame
Are you talking about for the image?
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, so the frame that you're using, that's called that image clip.
Yeah.
So yes, you certainly may. In fact, if you let's is this drawing ready to save?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to save this and I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to let you do it here and see, but I wanted to make sure we can go back to it if we need to. But if you just type the image clip, or let's see if I set it, is it going to let me choose it from here? No, I can't. I mean, it says that's just a choice of whether to show it or not. Trying to see where that would be.
Well, you can type it.
Yeah, I know. I was going to also try to show you where it might be here, maybe under here, because you're in, but that's, there should be so you can do it all down here with these different things. An image, but it's really not an image set. Anyway, let's just type it. Because it's
No,
actually, let's see that image clip.
now wouldn't I need to make another frame before I clip it?
No, no, because, well, you can do so. I mean, I'll show you a couple things. So if I say image clip, now you can turn that on and off or delete that one or by default choose new. And if I choose new, this new boundary, it says delete the old boundary. And so if I say, yep, now it wants you to either, if you've already drawn one, which would be this select polyline,
Right.
or you can choose polygonal or rectangular. And you just, if I choose polygonal, for instance, it lets me as if I'm drawing. Well, and I'll go out here and make it a little irregular so you can see it. So now I'm done with that, press enter to close. And so now I've just created that one as a new
Oh, okay.
clip. So you don't have to pre-draw it. A lot of times I do though, so because I know exactly where it's going to be and I can just select it. I don't have to keep retracing it if something ever happens to it. So now I'm going to undo that and put that back for you. So yeah, so if you just run image clip, sorry, I don't know where that might live on either a toolbar or whether Carlson included it in a menu. I would have
That's okay.
thought,
I'm used to typing it in.
yeah, okay. So that should work. All right.
Okay. Well, I think that's it for today.
All righty. Well, I'll send you a link. It'll be a teeny tiny little video, maybe something you never need to look at, but it'll be there.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet, sir. Be
Have a
good.
good one.
All right. Thanks. You too.
Bye.